Shalom. First off, I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone GMS that rule well, that patiently labor in order to give us this word, this truth, this wisdom, and this knowledge, according to the Holy Bible. Peace and salutations be given unto the Lord's chosen elect, beginning with the 144,000, and to all you Akim that preach this word across the four corners to the four winds of the earth. To you I say Shalom, may Yahweh Bashem Yahushai have mercy on you in these evil last days. I am the brother Halalyum from the Great Millstone Chicago camp, and this lesson is titled, The Two Witnesses and the Two Olive Trees, because this subject is a very difficult topic for a lot of these people to properly give the correct breakdown of. Because pursuant to Romans the 11th chapter, the majority of people believe that the branches that were grafted back into the tree is referring to all these other heathen nations. But that's not true. And when you actually read the scriptures, you will know that the olive trees represent the two kingdoms of Israel, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom. So I'm going to start in the book of Revelation chapter 1. It's like Revelation chapter 11, and I'll start at verse 1. And it says, And it was given to me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and all them that worship therein. So the temple of the Most High, which the new temple represents, us, we are the temple. The temple of the Most High is being measured, man, to number out the true worshipers and the true believers. Let's read this in the NLT, and it says, Then I was given a measuring stick, and I was told, Go measure the temple of God, which are the Israelites, and the altar, Salakia, and count the number of worshipers, man. So the temple of the Most High, the Israelites are being measured in order for the Lord to find out the number of the true worshipers, man. And according to the measurements, 2/3 of that measurement are going to have to be cut off, which represents the wicked 2/3 of Israel that are going to be destroyed in these last days for not hearkening and listening to the words and laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the temple of the Lord is being measured, man, because judgment must begin at the house of God. And the chaff has to get separated from the wheat. Now I'm going to go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, and verse 16. And it says, Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in, said the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is getting measured right now in order for the Lord to find out the true believers, which represent the elect. Verse 17 says, Cry yet, thus said the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall be spread abroad, yet, Slack, and the Lord yet shall comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem, man. So the measuring line is measuring Jerusalem, the temple of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, in order for the Lord to determine who's right and who's wrong. I'm going to go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 2, and verse 1. And it says, I lifted up mine eyes again, and I looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof, man. So going back to Zechariah, the first chapter, the temple of the Most High, the Israelites are being measured in order for the Lord to find that precious remnant, the 1/3 of the elect, beginning with the 144,000 that are going to be saved. And that's the righteous remnant that's in the temple of God. But going back to Revelation chapter 11 and moving down to verse 3, and it says, And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. And these represent the prophets of Israel, man. The kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. That's what that represents. The olive trees. Now from there, let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, and I'll start at verse 1. And it says, And the angel that talked with me again came again and walked on to me as a man that is awakened out of his sleep. Verse 2 says, And said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick of all gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon. and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are on the top thereof. And that candlestick of all gold, that represents this truth and this wisdom and this knowledge that the Lord has given to the elect of Israel, beginning with the 144,000, the righteous remnant. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, and let's go to verse 23. And it says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So in the Bible, the candlestick of gold represents the truth and the wisdom and knowledge that has been granted to the men of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because the Lord revealeth his secrets unto who? It's Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. And it says, "Surely Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets," man. So the prophets have received that candlestick of gold, which represents wisdom and knowledge. You know, the mysteries of all the things that are hidden that the rest of the world doesn't understand. But going back to Zechariah chapter 4, I'm going to go to verse 3, and it says, "And 2 olive trees were by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof." And these represent the Israelites, man, the 2 prophets of Israel, the northern kingdom, which consists of the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the southern kingdom, which represents Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the northern kingdom, which represents Ephraim all the way on down to Issachar, the northern kingdom, the Latin tribes. Well, I'm going to skip down to verse 11, and it says, "Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches, which through the golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered unto me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. And then he said, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth." And those represent the Israelites, man. The Lord's chosen, the anointed ones of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that were given this wisdom, this knowledge, and that candlestick of gold. Now I'm going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 52. And now I'll go at verse 6. Psalms 52 and verse 6. And it says, "The righteous also shall see and fear and shall laugh." And was referring to the chosen laughing at the destruction of the wicked. And it says, verse 7 says, "Lo, this is the man that made not the Most High's strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in wickedness. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of the Most High. I trust in the mercy of the Most High forever and ever. I will praise thee forever, because thou hast done it, and I will wait upon thy name, for it is good before thy saints," man. So King David referred to himself as a goodly olive tree, man. Which that's what the Israelites represent. Those, the elect of Israel, the men of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that learn this word, man, and are going across the 4 corners of the earth, preaching this truth unto all the nations. Those represent that goodly green olive tree, man. Now from there, let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11, and I'll go to verse 13. And it says, "For according to thy number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem, ye have set up altars, that shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal," which is going to the wickedness of the 2/3 of Israel, you know, the wicked multitude serving other gods. But verse 14 says, "Pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry of prayer for them. For I will not hear them in the time that they will cry unto me for their trouble. What hath my beloved to do in my house, seeing she hath wrought lewdness with many? And the holy flesh is passed from before thee, and when thou doest evil, you rejoice in it." And this next scripture is the point, and it says, "The Most High called thy name," talking about the Israelites, "a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he hath kindled fire against it, and the branches of it are broken," because the Israelites were scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. And why? Because of the wickedness that they were doing, man. Which goes back to the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 64. And it says, "And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even onto the other." So the Israelites are scattered all across the world, man. So it's Israelites in America, you know, in South America, Australia, all across the 4 corners of the earth. That's why in the intro, I said what? Give praises unto the prophets that teach across the four corners of the earth, because there are great millstone camps all over the world, man. You got Israelite camps in Nigeria, Barbados, Hawaii, Italy, because the Israelites are scattered across the four winds. Let me read this again. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So the branches of the tree were broken because the Israelites went off, man. And we discontinued from our heritage. Now let's get that. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And it says, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. So it was prophesied that the Israelites would discontinue from their heritage, man, which represents the branches of that green olive tree that we read in Jeremiah chapter 11 being broken. The Israelites being scattered across the four winds and serving the heathens and the false idols that the heathen made for them to serve, man. Now let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 11. And I'll start at verse 1. And it says, I say then, this is Apostle Paul speaking. I say then, hath the Most High casted away his people? God forbid. For I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So the Lord never cast off his people, man. All the Lord did was punish the Israelites for the wicked deeds that they were doing, man. But the Lord promises to grant Israel back, even the wicked 2/3, man. All because of the promise that he made to Abraham. Verse 2 says, the Most High hath not casted away his people which he foreknew. So like it, wote ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the God of Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thy altars, and I have left alone, and they seek my life. But let's skip down further to verse 16. And it says, for if the first fruit be holy, the lump also is holy. And if the root are holy, so are the branches. But if some of the branches be broken off, which is what we just read in Jeremiah, and thou being a wild olive tree wert grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and the fatness of the olive tree. So the branches have been broken off, man. And the Israelites were scattered, and they're serving other gods, which is why Apostle Paul made it his mission, along with all the other 12 disciples, to travel across the world, to travel to Bithynia, Cappadocia, traveling all throughout West Asia to preach to the Israelites that were scattered in other lands. Verse 18, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Slack it. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in, which is referring to the Israelite foreigners that were scattered across the four corners of the earth. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And thou standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. For if God spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare thee not. Behold, therefore, the goodliness of the severity of the Most High on them which fell severity, but good towards thee. If thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou shalt be cut off. So that's what happened, man. The Israelites rebelled against the Most High, and they were cut off. And they discontinued from the heritage that they were made to serve. And they served the gods of the heathen, which goes into idolatry. Verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for God is able to graft them in again, man. So these Israelites scattered in other lands. Hey, when Apostle Paul went to some of these Israelites, some of them believed, man, which represents them being grafted back into the olive tree that the branches were broken from, man. That's what that's referring to. It's not referring to the heathen being grafted in because they were not a part of it in the first place, man. Hey, our beloved Elder Malcolm said you can never be grafted into something that you were never a part of. And these heathen were never a part of the inheritance of the children of Israel. Verse 24. For if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these be, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? So the Lord was speaking to the Gentiles, man, the Israelite foreigners that were scattered among the heathen nations, because you had the wicked Pharisees and the Israelites that were raised in the customs of being Israelites that were going off, man, and blaspheming the name of Yahweh Shai and only moving based off the old the Levitical priesthood, the law of Moses. Verse 25, for I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, unto the fullness of the Gentiles, the scattered Israelites, be come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and turn away all ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant with them when I shall come. I shall take away their sins, man. So all Israel is going to be grafted in, because the Israelites were scattered across the four corners of the earth, man. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai promises to restore balance, and all Israel is going to be saved when he comes back. Now I'm going to go to this final scripture in the book of Isaiah to really get this point across about the Gentiles. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 11, and I'll start at verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots, which goes back to that olive tree. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and fear of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Now let's skip down to verse 11. Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. And it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand the second time again to recover the remnant of his people, which are the Israelites, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So all these Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth are going to all be grafted back into that olive tree, man. When Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai comes back and restores the righteous kingdom upon the face of the earth. And he shall set an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the what? The outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, man. So the dispersed Israelites that are scattered from the four corners of the earth are going to be grafted back into that olive tree, man, and are going to be saved when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai comes back and restores the righteous kingdom. And that represents the olive tree. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone GMS that rule well. Shalom. And until the next lesson, Abba Babal.